Hey, here we go, live on YouTube. I need to get the Instagram set up. I'm gonna be live on Instagram at the same time if anybody is here watching. But thanks for coming through. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing more live videos on the channel. Be sure to like this stream. If you're early, if you're here, it is gonna take me another minute to set it up, but yeah, hit that like button, help me out. All right, the Instagram live is on, the YouTube is on. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Pitchside with Parker for another video. Today it's Pitchside Live. That's what we're calling it. Yeah, man, we got plenty of stuff to talk about. There's gonna be all kinds of stuff to go over, and I would definitely love if people want to give me some topics as well. I have some. Let me flip the camera on here. What am I doing? I'm pretty rough at this, to be honest. What's up, everybody? Oh, there we go. All right, now you can actually see me. That'll help a little bit. But yeah, again, shout out to the people on YouTube. Shout out to the people on Instagram. I'm going to be kind of going back and forth. But yeah, leave a like if you're here on YouTube. And if you're on Instagram, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Kind of trying to do this two-platform thing right now. But we can get started. As you can see in the thumbnail, I was very excited about this Leipzig and Gladbach game. 3-2 was the finish in that one. Crazy comeback from Leipzig. And it was a game of two halves, really. I thought Gladbach, they looked a little, I don't know. They whew, the live nerves are jumping in a little bit. I'm used to recording videos and I can just edit stuff out. But yeah, a game of two halves, as I said. Gladbach were up 2-0 halftime, and Leipzig they didn't look like they wanted it. I got to be totally honest about that. They looked just very disappointing from what you would come to expect from them. Oh my goodness. Austin, what's up, man? Let me see if I can see who's here in the YouTube. We got 3 people in there. Cool. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing, though? I can't lie, I got the nerves going a little bit, so this is probably looking a little rough right now. But yeah, I mean, what do y'all want to talk about? I'm pretty open to talking about whatever. I've absolutely bottled it on the Leipzig Gladbach game already. But it was an exciting one, 3-2 Leipzig comeback win. Oh man, what a game. Scenes at the end, the Sorloth goal, a beautiful header from him. The cross from Nkunku, just a great comeback from Leipzig. Very exciting stuff. Three viewers in the building on YouTube. Thanks for coming through, y'all. Be sure to like the stream as well. Hopefully I'll find my feet here in a minute and get a little more started. What other good games were on today? West Ham City was first thing in the morning. I have to say, I'm glad I woke up for this game because Manchester City get their 20th win in a row, an outstanding record for them. I think West Ham honestly provided a bigger test than a lot of teams that City have faced this season. I thought they came in with a great game plan, and the way that they hit on the counter, they always looked a threat, even though City were certainly controlled the game. The way that Antonio and Jesse Lingard were combining on the counter, those two, they were causing a lot of problems, and they got the equalizer in the first half, 1-1 at halftime. I honestly, I think that if you asked Pep after this game, he would probably say that this is one of the biggest wins of the season for Manchester City. Like, West Ham are one of the teams that are actually built to cause City a lot of problems, again, just because of the way that they're able to attack on the counter. And I mean, just simply how they've played this season. Like, they're a top 4 team, and they were kind of looking to make a statement of their own. It was interesting to hear Moyes' comments after the game because he kind of wanted people to like step off the gas a little bit. He was kind of like, okay, I'll just be happy with top 10. Like if you told me top 10 at the beginning of the season, I'd be cool with that. So it's interesting to see the difference, but Pep showed him a lot of respect in his comments as well. And there's good reason for it. Like their system was set up really well, and it took some very impressive moments from Manchester City. The first goal, the assist from De Bruyne on his left foot, that's supposed to be his weaker foot, by the way. Absolutely ridiculous cross from him. And Ruben Diaz headed it in. And then the second one from Stones as well. Like this was an underrated finish. If you play ball, you understand. If you play ball, you know. That was a tidy finish from John Stones. And you just don't expect that from a center back. Like I've seen Gabriel Jesus miss much easier chances than that throughout the season for City. So that was surprising. De Bruyne's weak foot is stronger than my strong foot. Yeah, no, you're telling me. I'm saying the same thing, as you see. Isaac's in the Instagram. He says, "Come on, City." Isaac Gage, big Manchester City fan. Man, it must be a good season for you, man. I'm jealous. I can't lie. Arsenal are very far away from that. But yeah, man, Manchester City, 20 wins in a row, looking very strong. And as I said, 2 center backs are the 2 who scored. Like that says a lot about this team right now. Every single player on their team can ball. Like it's that simple. Doesn't matter if it's the reserves. It doesn't matter if it's the defenders. I mean, honestly, like Ederson could probably walk into Arsenal's midfield. Like genuinely, I believe that. He should be their penalty taker because that's the one thing that they haven't figured out this season. I don't know why they won't let Ederson take them, but he's definitely got better feet than just about anybody in the league as well. But yeah, man, City, they just keep going, and I really don't feel like anybody's going to be able to challenge them too tough this year. They just look dominant at the top, and as I said, I think this could be one of their most important wins, one of their best wins of the season, if you were to ask Pep Guardiola about it. Shout out to everybody in the streams, man. If you're on Instagram, be sure to come over to YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. I am going to start trying to do some of these live streams, hopefully like once a week on the weekend, something like that. But definitely come through, check out the YouTube channel. I'm doing content every single day. And so it's been great support recently, and I'm just trying to keep growing and hopefully get a little better at these live videos, because if y'all been here since the beginning, I was struggling for a second there. But the feet are under me, and we're ready to go. So the next game I watched today, if y'all see my preview video, you probably imagine that you'd know what games I was watching. But Barca and Sevilla, interesting one in La Liga. 2 teams that got battered in the Champions League. Of course, they played each other in Copa del Rey as well, and Sevilla was up 2-0. So they will play again next week, with Barcelona looking to turn around that deficit. And Barca looked really good today. They went kind of surprisingly with 3 at the back. And it actually worked out pretty well. Dembele was almost playing like on his own up top, and he had a great game. He scored the opening goal for Barcelona, and then Messi kind of sealed it off at the end. Messi had a goal and an assist. Top of the goal scorers in La Liga this season, still just putting up incredible numbers. Unfortunately, couldn't catch the whole stream today. Just got here. Oh, no worries. We just started. I'll be here for a while. What's up, Vishal? I see him in the Instagram as well. But yeah, man, come through. Like the video on YouTube if you're in the YouTube stream. And yeah, shout out to everybody on Instagram as well. But yeah, Barca Sevilla, man. It was a good performance from Barcelona, honestly, but there were some negatives for them as well. Like three more injuries in this game, as if Barca wasn't injured enough already. Pedri looked like he got worn out. He took a knock and he had to come off in the second half. And then Piqué came off early in the second half as well. And then Araujo comes on, who's been injured for them. And then he comes back and he gets hurt again in the second half, and he has to come back off, and they bring him Titi on. So the center back problems are still happening a lot at Barcelona. And I was texting Vic during the game. He was pretty frustrated with that, as I could understand. I'm sure all the Barca fans out there are feeling like that right now. Duckbag, you killing him. I got, hey, thank you. I'm doing my best, man. trying to give y'all some good content, and hopefully the live streams are like that. I see the 4 likes, 5 people watching, 4 likes. Hey, that's as good as I can ask for right there. So thank you. Let's see, Barca. Yeah, and so what I'm interested to see from this Barca game is, will they approach it the same way in the midweek against Sevilla when they go back for the Copa del Rey tie? Because I think this performance will have given them a lot of confidence that they can actually turn it around and do it again against Sevilla. I mean, they beat them pretty comfortably today, 2-0. Sevilla didn't really look too dangerous. So I'm wondering, will Koeman keep this same system? Because now Lopetegui will have some time to game plan for it. He'll be able to think about it a little bit heading into Wednesday and figure out, okay, if they've got 3 at the back, how can we attack this? Because it looked like they got caught a little bit off guard today. But yeah, that was kind of my thoughts on Barcelona. Certainly let me know if there's any Barca fans around in the stream. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's see what else we got on the sheet. Yeah, Leipzig, Gladbach. I talked about that at the beginning, kind of stumbled over my words, so maybe we'll go back into that one. It's what's on the thumbnail. 3-2 Leipzig, and they kept their Bundesliga hopes alive, really, because I feel like with Bayern winning yesterday, and then, or rather this morning, but playing beforehand, they knew the pressure was on. They knew they had to keep getting wins. As I mentioned in my last video, they are in a position where if they win every single game down the stretch of the season, they could win a title no matter what Bayern do. But that does include a game against Bayern, so they would actually have to beat them, which is certainly a tough task. And I can't lie, they looked like they put themselves out of this game. Like, they did not play well in the first half. They looked out of it, and they were just overplaying everything. And Gladbach were able to get them with a penalty given away by Upamecano. Man, Upamecano has had a really interesting ride of things, because I think it was probably year and a half to 2 years ago at this time. I mean, he was the most wanted center back in the world. And I was somebody who was screaming for him to play at Arsenal. And I really wanted us to sign him. I thought he was one of the brightest young players. Now he will be heading over to Bayern. So obviously, you know, their talent ID is pretty crazy. So that shows you where it's at. But at the same time, he has been such a like roller coaster player, up and down. And even in this game, he was as well. Like, he gave away the penalty, and then he proceeded to actually make some really important challenges in the second half as well. And he saved some goals as well as giving the one away. So you give some, you get some with Upamecano. But, I mean, the talent is undeniable from him. And he actually helped with some of the build-up play on that final goal where they were able to break him down in the second half. I thought Poulsen was phenomenal in the second half. Nice goal from outside the box, and he actually linked up the play really well. For as many midfielders as they have and as many creative players as they have, it was the big man Poulsen who was actually kind of making things happen for them in this one. And he really led the charge of that comeback, and he kind of brought the energy as well. In the comments, ADC saying their back three is unique, honestly. Yeah, that's very true. Like, I think it works out well for them because they're talking about Barcelona. I think it works out well for them because it gives Dest and Jordi Alba the chance to kind of, you know, not totally forget about their defensive responsibilities, but have more freedom going forward. I think the issue is, especially with the continued injuries for center back at Barcelona, like, who is actually going to be playing those three? It's great. Like, it's a great setup, but who's playing in that? And now that Araujo's back injured, PK's injured again, you know, it's probably Longley and Umtiti and the young guy, I forget his name, but Menguesa or something like that. So yeah, I don't know if it's those three if you want to stick with it, but I mean, work today. Ross says, who do you think should be the CB pairing for France in the Euros? Ooh. France is interesting for center backs. Like, there's definitely a lot of good names. Historically, it's let's see, in the past it's been like Varane and Umtiti, I guess, at the last World Cup, right? Yeah, Lucas Hernandez is certainly an option. You got Upamecano for sure. Laporte. I mean, I have to say, I think Laporte has got to be in the conversation. I'm trying to think who else. I'd probably go. The thing is, Varana's had a shaky season at Real Madrid, to be fair. I would say maybe Laporte and Varane, though, probably. I'm not sure that anybody else probably has the run on them just yet. I feel like they also have a lot of players that are like kind of on the cusp, but it'll depend on their system a little bit too. Because Upamecano, I think, is much better in a back three, and that's what he's gotten very used to playing at Leipzig, because it gives him like a chance to kind of step up and step into the midfield and pick passes, which is a big strength in his game. So I wouldn't expect France to play back three, and for that reason, I think maybe he would be a little short on that. Longley, yeah, that's a shout as well. I mean, he's had a shaky season at Barca as well. Like my friends who are Barca fans, they're not too pleased with Longley this season. So yeah, it's a curious one. I don't know. I think that'll be an important part for France as well, because I mean, we know about the attacking options that they have, and clearly that will take them far in the tournament. But certainly a center back pairing is pretty crucial. But good question, Ross. Thanks for asking. And if y'all have other questions, certainly feel free to ask. I've got a few more things that we could certainly chat about that I have written down from earlier, but I certainly love y'all to, add your own questions, add your own thoughts, kind of guide this. It's more fun when you can just answer questions. But one thing I did want to talk about, though, a very drastic switch of topic here, but Zlatan and LeBron. Zlatan has had a rough couple of weeks, if we're being completely honest. Like, it's sad for me because Zlatan was one of my favorite players growing up, before you really like learn anything about them as a person. And he's one of those celebrities that you start peeling back the layers and you hear him speak and you're just like, I wish I could have just never heard you speak. But I mean, pretty much unprovoked in an interview, he started talking about LeBron James, and his quote was, "I don't like when people who have status do politics at the same time. Do what you're good at." And he referenced LeBron James specifically with that. So basically, like, shut up and dribble, stick to sports, which obviously is just an asinine comment. Like, there's no defending that. But, like, it's just so random. It was just so out of the blue. Like, I don't really understand what would cause you to say that unprovoked. And I mean, LeBron's response was really interesting. He got asked about it last night in the Lakers game, and he basically said, I'm never going to stop talking about things that are wrong, and I'm always going to speak up for injustices in my communities because that's where I come from. And, obviously I got to speak for my people. But he was also like, Zlatan, weren't you the one who a couple years ago like called out Swedish FA and Swedish fans and stuff for, treating you differently because your last name wasn't like historically Swedish? He's half Bosnian, and Ibrahimovic isn't a Swedish surname, and he got mad about that, and he called it like undercover racism or something like that. So he was kind of like, look, like, Zlatan, you've talked about this before. And the comment said, I don't take my favorite sports players for my political opinion. Yeah. I mean, you really can't, because if you did, I mean, a lot of these people suck. So yeah, I mean, you'll end up looking pretty dumb, like you would if you're a Zlatan fan. But I thought one of the funniest reactions to this was Baron Davis on Twitter, former point guard in the NBA. If it's just soccer fans in here who may not know who he is, but he used to play for the Clippers, so he lives in LA, and he said, Zlatan, stay your ass out of LA. Galaxy suck anyway. Like, that was kind of unnecessary. He didn't have to say that. You're dumb as hell. Take that stolen Zuhan look and give it back to Sandler. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, Zlatan getting absolutely cooked for that, and he's just making an ass of himself, honestly. Like, I don't really understand what caused him to say that. But anyway, I wanted to chat about that a little bit. Vishal says, on a slightly different note, who will play England First team out of Grealish, Mount, Foden, or Madison. Ooh, that's a big question, man. I can tell you one thing off the bat, which is that Gareth Southgate definitely is not going to have the answer. So I hope I can give you the answer, but undoubtedly what's correct in this situation is not what he'll end up doing. For me, I think Grealish for me is the must start out of those four. To me, in terms of like performances I've seen over the past year or so, I would say for me, it's Grealish and Foden, top two, Madison slightly behind them, Mount slightly behind them in fourth. But it's tough. I think the bonus of Grealish and Foden is that you can play them both out wide. Obviously, Madison has done that as well in his career. I guess Mason Mount has too a little bit. They kind of all have had to at some point, but I think Foden and Grealish both look a little more natural playing out wide. That being said, if you do play one of them out wide, you can't really play the other ones in the 10 in the same way because they're all going to want the ball no matter where they're playing on the field. So I think it's interesting. And if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Grealish just from what I've seen recently. But yeah, like y'all are saying, I mean, the managers do love Mason Mount. Like Frank Lampard constantly played him. Tuchel playing him. Southgate always plays him. I don't really understand. What's up, Chris? Thanks for stopping by the Instagram, man. Come over to the YouTube as well if you haven't yet, and be sure to like the stream for y'all who are in the YouTube. But yeah, Mason Mount, bro. The thing is, for me, he's at the bottom of those four players between Grealish, Mount, Foden, and James Madison. Madison is I feel like he kind of got dropped out of that conversation a little bit unfairly just because of injury. And he's beginning to pick up form. I have a feeling he's going to cause Arsenal a lot of problems tomorrow. I really hope that Thomas Partey plays because he could actually handle that situation, whereas I don't really feel the same about Xhaka or Elneny or Ceballos or anything. So, yeah, but that England midfield should be interesting. I think it depends what formation they play as well, because what they did in the last friendlies, from what I remember, was kind of like a 5-3-2, but the 3 being like a triangle and that cam spot being either Grealish or Mount. And then they had like Rashford and Sterling ahead of them. So, yeah, Sancho, I mean, Sancho has to be an option as well. I think he will probably end up being forced out wide. But, I mean, you could play him in the 10 as well. Mo said, I got to dip. Stay Gucci with the bit. Thanks, man. Hey, no worries. No worries. Anytime y'all can stop by. It doesn't matter how short. I do appreciate it. And you know, thanks for leaving a comment and everything. Yeah, man, England's going to be a fascinating team at the World Cup. The bottom line is, as long as Southgate's there, it's not going to go well. And also, I mean, they're going to get dumped in the knockout stages no matter what happens. Like, it's England. We know this. As much great players as they have, and like you said, Sancho is super fun to watch. I think today he became the youngest player to 50 assists in the Bundesliga. If I'm correct about that, I think I saw that on Twitter. He had another assist or two in Dortmund's game today, and he's been on fire recently. Like, people talk about Haaland, but honestly, Haaland would not be putting up the numbers he is without Sancho, because so many of his assists come from him. Phil Neville's Inter Miami coach now. Yeah, he is. He left the England women's team, so they've been looking for a replacement, which was kind of a really random move from him. But yeah, he is going to be Inter Miami coach. Yeah, man, I think if I was England, I think that they actually looked pretty good with 5 at the back and playing like wing backs. I think Saka has to start at wing back. I mean, you know how I feel about that. We got an agenda on that a little bit. Saka's the man, and any England team without him in the starting lineup, I think they've gotten it wrong. But yeah, I feel like Rashford up top, maybe Sterling up top, Kane. That's the other kind of problem here, is that like you could play with Kane through the middle and then one of these guys as the number 10. But the way that Kane has been this season, he's liked occupying that space as well. So regardless of like the amount of, different positions that some of these guys play. England just has a load of players who want to be a number 10. Like England has a bunch of players who they need to have the ball and they need to be the creator. Sancho is that way. Grealish is that way. All these guys we're talking about, Harry Kane is that way. I mean, even Rashford, I feel like he plays better when he's given a little bit more freedom to be on the ball and he can actually make things happen off the dribble. Like when he just has to stand on the last defender and just wait for through balls, he's not as effective of a player. So I feel like that's kind of more the issue that they face rather than like position specifically. Ross says, I can't lie to you. I used to be a Mount hater. He can ball. I still think Grealish is clear of him, but he is super impactful to Chelsea. No, I agree. Like Mount has been really good for Chelsea, but I feel like just compared to those other people, that's the only reason I say he's a little lower, but all of them are ballers for sure. Like that generation of English players is so good. And I think that's also why you see some of the younger players like Jamal Musiala recently announced for England or announced for Germany ahead of England. And he's like kind of a number 10 as well. And I think if there are more like dual nationals, people are going to start picking that because there's just too many people in that like young English age group. So yeah, man, they definitely look good. There's a millipede crawling around in here. That does not make me feel good, but we're going to keep it going at least for a little bit longer. Will Mims hopping in the live. What's up, man? But yeah, so yeah, good questions though. The Euros, man, I'm really curious to see how the Euros go as well, because like they still haven't even announced the format for it. Like it might still be in multiple countries, but I heard England is making a bid to get actually like all the games played in England, and that could actually change things a little bit, I think. But to me, it seems like it would be smarter for them to just play it all in one location. I didn't really understand the whole purpose of doing a Euros across the continent in the first place, but supposedly that's still what they're going to stick with. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see this summer, but yeah, I'm excited, man. I think England are there, France are there, obviously. Like Belgium, they're going to be a problem. Portugal, geez, like especially for Portugal, so many of their players are in form right now, especially a lot of the players in the Premier League, like João Cancelo and Bernardo Silva, Bruno. Oh man, I think they are probably the favorites for me right now at the Euros. But yeah, man, thanks everybody for tuning in. Everybody on YouTube, of course, and people who are watching this video later. We are doing daily content, and this is basically today's video, but I'm looking forward to trying to do kind of one of these every week, probably on the day that Arsenal isn't playing on the weekend, just because on days that Arsenal plays, I try to do the match reviews. But this can kind of be like the daily video on the days where they're not playing. So yeah, man, it's something I'm looking forward to doing. And if you're watching this later, be sure to definitely catch the next one. And follow me on Twitter, stay tuned, pay attention to the videos. I do talk about these, although I probably don't do a fantastic job promoting them, but definitely come through next time. But yeah, let's see. What other topics do we got? If y'all got any more questions, feel free to drop them in the preview. Oh, let's talk about Brighton real quick, because, as you can see on the board, Brighton, I just feel bad for them, man. They are genuinely a good team. Like, I think the stat that I saw Henry Bushnell put up today was that they are third in the expected points table this season. And considering they're in the relegation zone, like that's absolutely insane, the difference in that. And like in their last two games, Brighton's XG is 5.2 and their opponents have 1.2. And yet they've lost both games and they haven't scored a goal with 5 XG. So for y'all who missed the game, they had a penalty go off the crossbar and a penalty go off the post. And they had a disallowed free kick, which was some real weird stuff going on that. I'm curious what y'all think of that one, because I have to be honest. This will probably not be a super popular opinion, but I mean, never mind. Let me just say it depends on what the ref actually said to dunk, because if he said you can take the free kick and then he didn't let him do it, that's a problem. But I feel like for what they called it as, they called it right. Like it was supposed to be a like wait for the whistle thing, and he kicked it before he blew the whistle, he did blow the whistle again to stop the play before it went in. So I know that that's kind of like I'm siding with the refs, but it depends what he said though, because Dunk after the game said that you can take the free kick quickly, and he did. So if that was the case, then I feel like that was some nonsense, but I kind of understood where the ref was coming from. But the whole him changing his decision thing and then VAR changing it as well, it's such a mess, man. And like VAR just needs a complete overhaul. And even with that said, like VAR generally is not the problem. I would say it's more so the refs, and especially in England, like the VAR just wants to protect the refs. Like the VAR people in the booth want to protect the refs, and I'm just it's caused a lot of problems. And I feel bad for Brighton, man. They even got the makeup call on the penalty, and then Welbeck bangs it off the post. So sad season for Graham Potter. Actually, as we were talking about the England team earlier, I think Graham Potter should be in conversation for an England job. I mean, I think that if they were going to switch coaches before the Euros, they probably would have wanted to do that by now or very soon. So it probably won't happen, but I think he should be in conversation for it because he's done a really good job with Brighton, and he's an English manager. I mean, I feel like his success in the Premier League, I know Brighton haven't, they could still get relegated this year, but as the XG says, they should be doing a lot better this season. But yeah, let me know if y'all have any more thoughts. I'll probably wrap it up in about 5 minutes or so. We're just doing a short stream today. They might be longer in the future. They might be shorter as well. I don't know. I'm kind of just trying it out today. So definitely, let me know what you think if you're watching this video later. And yeah, I mean, if anybody else is watching and they got a few more topics they'd like to ask about, certainly ask away. I don't have much left on my sheet, so I kind of covered all the things I wanted to talk about. But I'll leave it open for anybody if you have questions or thoughts or whatever. But briefly, while those are coming in, I will say Arsenal Leicester game tomorrow, I'm not very excited about, and to get up early and just inevitably for Arsenal to lose, yeah, it's going to be an L. ADC says, I'm an aspiring referee and VAR sucks. Just let human error go. Yeah. It's tough for me, man, because I feel like VAR on the whole has been a net good. I feel like there are certain plays where it's just black and white. It's a good decision. I think offsides, for instance, if they changed it. Hey, Daniel, what's up, man? Thanks for coming through, man. We're probably about to wrap up, but thanks for coming through. I feel like with VAR, the offside specifically, like that's a rule that could be tweaked and then it would work with VAR. But in general, VAR is a good thing. Like it's actually becoming, it's making certain decisions black and white. And the thing is, in other leagues, it works. This is why I say the English refs are the problem, because there are not these same issues in Germany. There are not these same issues in MLS. One thing that I actually think would really help, and I know a lot of people have said this before, is if they just mic'd up the referees. Like I think especially today in the Brighton game, that could have cleared pretty much everything up. And Lewis Dunk said it in his post game as well. He was like, why do I have to face the media and I get asked questions about this decision? But the ref doesn't even have to come out and justify what he did, or the VAR people don't have to come up and do an interview about what they did. Like maybe they could do their little internal review and put out a report or whatever, but they don't get held to the same standard. And if they just had them mic'd up the whole time, like they do it in rugby, I mean, even just the NFL, I feel like we take that for granted in the US. Like they at least have to say what the call was. They don't necessarily explain themselves, but when there's like a challenge and stuff, even in the NBA and the NFL, like they explain their decision and they have to explain it specifically to the broadcasters so that the broadcasters know. Like I've been in that position before. Even like broadcasting a college basketball game, the refs will come over to you. Even like I did like a college lacrosse games when I was at Northwestern, and they will come up to you and they'll be like, hey, this is the decision we made. This is why we made it. And yeah, I mean, that would solve a lot of the problems as well. Yeah, you would agree. Yeah, I mean, it seems like kind of a no-brainer, but it's like if you're hesitant to put that in, I think that says a lot. Like if you, the only reason you could not want to put something like that in to add more transparency is if you're doing some shady shit. Like that's what I think anyways. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it ruins a lot of good games. And even last week when I was watching the Arsenal game, like the final goal that Aubameyang scored to put him through in the tie, 87th minute, I couldn't even celebrate because I was waiting to see what the offsides call would be. And that would have been like probably one of the most exciting goals that I saw this season as an Arsenal fan. So yeah, stuff like that. I feel like it's having a lot of negatives on the game, and I'm sure that's how Brighton feel if you would ask them about the game today. But that's dope though. You know, being a referee, I hope that works out for you. And yeah, hopefully you're a better ref than all these people out there. I think you know, people should let you have a little human error. But the system should be a little clearer, and the rules need to be updated for VAR as well, I think. But anyway, yeah, I mean that'll pretty much wrap it up for this one. I appreciate everybody who stopped by, everybody on Instagram, everybody on YouTube. Again, be sure to leave a like on your way out if you haven't done that yet. Really happy with the people who came through. Thanks so much for asking questions and everything. And hopefully this will, you know, become a more regular thing on the channel. Hopefully I can get a little better at it as well. Last question at the buzzer from Ross. He says, who has impressed you more on their loan spell, Maitland-Niles or Willock? AZC saying UFC starts in 10, so perfect timing. Yeah, peace out, man. Thanks for coming through. I always appreciate your support. You are so dedicated, and you keep me motivated a lot. So yeah, enjoy the UFC fight. But yeah, Maitland-Niles or Willock, I'll do that as the last question. For me, it's been Willock. He's done some positive things at Newcastle, but to be fair, I don't think either of them have really looked too impressive. I think, honestly, Maitland-Niles, I hate to say this too because I really like Maitland-Niles, but I really like him as just a person and as a player. I feel like he's kind of digging himself a hole. Like, he rejected Southampton on loan because he wanted to play center mid. And so he went to West Brom because Big Sam was going to let him play center mid, and he's looked pretty average at best. Like, I feel like his passing and his decision making, every time I watch him, he's losing the ball a lot, which is a problem. And he's kind of confirming all the questions that people had about him at Arsenal in terms of him playing center mid and weaknesses in his game. And so, yeah, I haven't been super impressed with him so far. So I would probably go with Willock. Willock should have scored today against Wolves, man. Maximin cooked his defender and set him up on a plate, and he ended up missing. But he has looked more positive, and I think that the loan spell on the whole at Newcastle hopefully will make him a better player and help him develop at center mid, whereas I think Ainsley might be learning that it might be confirming that center mid is not his spot. So that's what I would say on those two. But yeah, that's it for the stream. Thanks everybody again for stopping by. Shout out to everybody who's watching later as well. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for 2 Arsenal reviews because men's and women's are playing tomorrow. Not sure exactly when those will be out, but they'll be out after the games. And yeah, so thanks for stopping through. And yeah, man, I'll catch everybody in the next one. Peace.